President Trump calling off a third wave of strikes on Iran tonight, saying that a deal is in place and the signing will potentially occur over the weekend in Europe with J.D. Vance to be present. Hopefully, both sides will be satisfied.
I know you'll never be satisfied, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me at all. We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. We'll probably have a signing maybe in Europe. Most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing. But we have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. That should be done pretty quickly. I won't be able to be there, but JD will be there, Vice President, and some of the people. Steve Witkoff did a great job.
And why is Trump so confident of a deal?
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take, and they want to make the deal a lot more than I do.
So, Dana, we feel like we go down this road a lot.
Every Thursday night or Friday morning.
Yes, exactly. And I know that our complaints are part of it is due to our attention spans. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you could argue that the longer it goes on, the worse condition Iran is in, and Trump knows that. So what do you make of this?
I think that is certainly true, that Iran has to be hurting economically. But the regime itself is willing to withstand a ton of pain. And they don't care about their people. We know that. President Trump cares more about their people than they care about themselves. Mm-hmm. But so it feels like we've been in this doom loop on the 1 yard line for 3 months. And I hope that it is true, that they could get a deal that if it meets those criteria that the president wants, although then you get into the difficult thing of confirming that they're not doing everything that they've always been doing. And you get back to trust but verify, which I think will be a part of the document. We don't have all of the details yet. So Iran is really good, too, about letting the president get out there and say, we're very close, we got a deal, and then they do something like shoot down a helicopter. It's like, well, okay, now we're back in the doom loop again. But hopefully it will work out. I can be optimistic as well.
Why can't you? Because right now we're in control. I only wish I had an analogy to use in this case, Paul.
Yeah, so I think it would be helpful. We were talking about this off the air, folks. I think it would be helpful to frame this in a particular way. And from where I sit, this thing is a hostage negotiation, right? And the hostages are the Iranian people. The perp in this instance is the IRGC and 4 million besieged thugs. That's the paramilitaries. Now, we don't want to kill the hostage, obviously, here, right? But we got to get rid of the perp somehow or other. I think we're past that. We've gotten to the point now that the best threat we have is we're going to take Carg Island. What does that mean? That means essentially you're staging SWAT right outside the door. And you're saying no food, no water. And we're right here, guys. We're ready to come in, but we're not coming in yet because Carg Island is not the mainland. So where does that leave you? This is why, in my estimation, that the administration has rightly sort of skewed or shifted, I should say, the focus to purely the nukes. And that puts you then in a little bit of a Hobson's choice. He's been saying it's just the nukes, that's all we care about. You then only really have two options from where I sit. Number one, you're in an endless bombing campaign that is informed by your intelligence, aerial photography, satellites, and what the Israelis and the Gulf allies will give you. Just inevitably, that's going to fail at some point because you're not going to have all the intel. They're going to have hidden sites like they always do. And they know we're coming this time. This ain't like the last time when we came in with the ghost bombers. And you can't have one of those bombers go down over Iran because the next day, Chinese, North Koreans, Iranians, and Russians will all have that technology. So then what's left? Trust but verify, boots on the ground of a sort, but it has to have real muscle. The UN is not that muscle. They've never been trustworthy on this issue. The Iranians obviously are not. They had, 11 bombs worth of enriched uranium ready to go, a missile that could go 2,000 miles that they weren't supposed to have. They can't be trusted. And so we either have to accept that this is about as good as we're going to get, or we're going to have to put real muscle, boots on the ground behind the inspections. Otherwise, this is going to go on forever.
See, I told you was going to mention Hobson's choice.
Yeah, who is Hobson?
Who is Hobson?
When you're asking me, I just looked that up. Come on.
So Jesse,
Brit, you know,
Jesse, one of the benefits of Trump is he keeps the end game to himself. It drives his adversaries crazy, but it causes everybody here to speculate. And then that makes us impatient. And then we get jaded. And then we start watching sports. Next thing you know, we're drinking and using narcotics. And then we end up homeless and living in Seattle. What is your take on this latest development?
My take is Trump is such a tease. And I fall for it every time. But this time, I think it's real. This time, I think it's real. The last 2 days, I think, woke the Iranians up. Greg, remember when you got beat up in high school?
Never happened.
You'd be getting hit for about a month straight, every single day. Then the bully would stop, and he'd take a break. That's the ceasefire. And then all of a sudden, after a couple more, boom, boom, and it hurts more the second time because you remember
analogy.
How painful it was. And that's what happened. We resumed major combat operations for the last 48 hours, and that was it. Plus, Trump's tongue. He basically said, we're going to keep bombing them until they sign. They didn't like that. And then he said, do you know where the gay Ayatollah is? He goes, I'm not going to tell you if I know or not, but I know.
Right.
And then he said, you know what? Openly speculating about seizing Carg Island. He'd never really done that before. And then apparently he called them last night and said, we're going to hit you tonight, and we're going to hit you here, and you're going to hit you here, and there's nothing you can do about it because we own the skies. It's not over till it's over. Someone said that. The fat lady hasn't sung yet because until you deal with the dust, it's war. So you can sign a document, you can open up the strait, but until we watch the dust get downgraded to zero, the war is still on. Because I think what's happening now is you're going to have the IAEA have to sit there and see and witness them take this thing down to zero. We have spies in the Atomic Energy Agency, so we'll see it, and we can see it from the Space Force. But until that happens, this war's still on. But right now it looks good. And I'm pretty happy with it. The market loves it. Oil's down into the 80s. The market was up, 900 points today? I think the market knows what's happening. And if JD's going to sign this thing in Europe, he better be back next week because he's on this show and he has to do The View. So hurry it up.
I think he's more worried about The View than Iran.
What's more dangerous?
Well, they could sit on him. So, Jessica, do you agree with everything Jesse said? It looks good. Cautiously optimistic. It could.
He did
end.
not say cautiously.
He kind of.
No, I'm cautiously.
Yeah.
We've been down this road before.
At least 37 times, actually. We have been down this road of we're almost at a deal. I'm glad that you said that we're in a war, though, because the president says that we're not, so that Congress can't assert their right to actually decide whether we should go to war or not. So I'm glad you've broken with him on that. It is, though, Greg, the first time that you have actually told the truth about the conversation in the green room that you were having with Paul for the setup. But I have a different hostage to bring to the table, which is the Strait of Hormuz. So yes, the end game is, of course, you want to take care of the nuclear dust and Iranian aspirations to have a nuclear weapon. But the Strait of Hormuz is the linchpin of this, and it has been since Iran predictably closed it. And that's really what needs to get open. I mean, the longer that this goes on, the more damage that we see. I mean, issues like a couple days ago, U.S. strikes took out 3 Indian nationals who were on a tanker that was going through. We can't have stuff like that happening. It makes people who are already angry at us even more angry at this point. In terms of how Iran is faring, of course, it is not all sunshine and roses and they're having the best time and there's a huge economic toll and there has been a military toll to some degree. But I think it's quite clear now.
Some degree?
Well, but I know what you're doing.
I'm letting you condition this stuff with the greatest words. You know, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Well,
they don't have an Air Force.
But then, I mean, Laura Ingraham, even a couple nights ago, asked on her show, she had a guest on who said, if we obliterated them, then how are they striking us? They have been able to rebuild and rearm certainly faster than we thought could happen. There's
some missiles and drones. We can't stop them all.
Fine, it's all right.
That's the only card they have left.
Yes,
really.
we have no problem. Everything has gone exactly to plan. You're absolutely right.
I didn't say that. I'm just trying to
also, no, but you're trying to
keep you on the path to truth, Jessica.
I walk alone on my path, and What I'm saying is rooted in what reporters from the region are putting out there, and even questions that some of Trump's biggest supporters are asking. We also know on the domestic level that Donald Trump needs this deal done. He doesn't have the appetite for the war himself anymore. He's said as much. The Republican Party doesn't. They're breaking with him more than they have before because they have concerns at home. People are saying it's $4 gas. Democrats are now up 10 points on the generic ballot. His approval is in the mid-30s. Inflation, 4.2%, outpacing wages. The toll of this war is too much for him to bear electorally and for what he's interested in anymore. And so maybe we get to a deal from this, but it's just a memorandum of understanding at this point. And Iran and Israel were key linchpins to making this come to fruition, are out there signaling that they're not interested in what at least is being proposed for Saturday in Europe for J.D. Vance. I guess he misses the UFC fight, though, which is
I think everybody.
Sunday.
Well,
think
can he get back?
everybody
You think
wants
he's going to
this
sign
finished
Saturday
On a
and get
jet?
back?
Yeah, he'll get there.
I think Trump was like, I would rather go to the UFC fight than stand around here while they probably won't sign this.
Same.
Well, everybody wants this finished, especially the Gulf states, but no one is really rallying to the Iranian side except the American left. And the difference between
The Chinese?
Well, obviously,
Same.
Oh, sorry.
same.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I missed my cue on that one.
Hey, look, let's remember something else, too. This is the first administration to actually push this to a reckoning.
Exactly. This is the thing that drives me crazy. Democrats and media do not include the context. When they talk about economic figures, they never bring up context. When they talk about Iran, they forget 50 years where they caused terrorism around the world, where they threatened to blow up
But
America.
that's why we had them in a deal that Trump ripped up. We had enriched uranium at 3.5% levels, and
Yeah,
then it got
it
up to
was a deal.
60% after he ripped up the deal in
All right,
2018.
Jessica, will
make a
you
deal with the
say, will
enemy
you say
and destroy
thank
it.
you after this is over and you get a deal and you get the uranium? Would you say thank you
To who?
to the president and Pete Hegseth? If you annihilate most of their military and get the dust, will you say thank you?
All right.
You won't say thank you?
Wow.
That's
You sound like
dishonest.
Be a
Guess
good
we know
girl
what
and
side
think-
she's on, America.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Ron Tarloff. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.